Right, it is 9:30 on a Tuesday morning, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for Harper Talks here on FM 88.3 WHCM Harper College Radio, and I am very excited to bring to you today my guest, Mr. Jeff Przybylo, who is a professor of communication here at Harper College and also the director of the Speech and Debate program. How you doing today, Jeff?
I'm doing good.
You doing good?
Yes.
Yeah, I know this is a little early in the morning for you, but
Very much so, and I didn't realize how much traffic there was at this time of the morning, so I'm glad I'm here.
All right, so Jeff, tell us, when did you come to Harper College?
As a student or a teacher?
Oh, you were a student at Harper as well?
Yeah, I took one summer class back in the day.
Wow.
And, maybe 87.
87? How's the place different now?
It looks a lot different. There was a lot more wood paneling back then.
Wood paneling?
It's all been covered up by plaster, but I know the places where under that plaster there's wood.
That's hilarious.
But I started my teaching career here in 1996, which, if you do the maths, is my 21st year.
Wow, that's fantastic. So tell us, Jeff, I think that when most people hear the word forensics, they immediately think of CSI, and I know that's a bone of contention with those in the speech and debate community. So tell us what forensics means in the terms of the speech and debate community.
Yeah, actually, CSI took it from us. A lot of people think, well, why did you name yourself after, CSI, forensic investigation? Actually, the word forensics is an Aristotelian term, and it comes from the ancient Greeks. So the Aristotle and Plato and all those people were basically early consultants. So if you had to go into the Grecian courts, you would call up one of these sophists, and they would teach you how to make an argument. And those were called forensic arguments. And they would teach you what evidence to put forward to argue your case or get you out of whatever trouble you were in. So we're making forensic speeches. Forensic scientists who go out and figure out who killed who, they're doing the same thing. They're looking around the crime scene for the evidence to support their claim of who committed the crime.
Okay. So before we delve all the way into what's going on with the forensics team and what you do there, you're also full-time faculty here at the college, and you've been here for 21 years now, as you were just saying.
Blackjack.
Blackjack, yeah. So tell us what you teach and what you're doing in those courses.
I teach the basic speech course. Speech 101, everybody's favorite course. I teach it in a number of modalities. I teach a couple of online sections, and everyone always says, online speech, how do you do that?
Right.
It's actually a blended course, so we come into the classroom to do our speeches, and all the instruction is done online. So I actually get to spend quite a bit of time with the students, probably about 25 hours over the course of the semester.
Oh, wow.
And then I'll do a fast track class for adult learners. I just did a course in our manufacturing apprenticeship program, which was really neat. I had some really interesting people, and we tailored the course to fit engineering and manufacturing, so that was kind of cool. And then I teach a regular speech course and honors speech. And then beside that, I'm pretty much focused on the small group communication course right now,
Okay.
where you could learn how we communicate with 3 or more people working in teams and committees and stuff.
I teach speech as well, and a lot of students come into that class with some serious speech apprehension. It's the last class that they want to take, but everybody's got to take it, and for good reason. How do we make that class real for people? How do we make that relevant to students who aren't interested?
I think you make good assignments, assignments that relate to their lives. You let them talk about who they are and who they want to be, and of course, we have to have a research component, but early on in my teaching career, I was heavy research. You got to go learn how to give speeches with all the evidence. But now I pull back on that a little bit now. We still do research, but really get them to dive into their personalities and just getting up there and expressing themselves.
Okay. Yeah. And I think that a lot of students just don't realize how important those what employers call soft skills are for the workplace and how relevant it is to actually be able to get up and talk in front of a group of people and have a conversation with them. So there seems to be and I don't want to start a bashing the millennials thing here, okay? But it seems that there's an issue with millennials being able to actually speak to people because they're so stereotypically, I should say, buried in their screens, and they're happy to communicate with you online, but if they have to communicate face to face, there seems to be an issue there.
Yeah.
So.
Whenever someone uses the term soft skill in relation to communication, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. I just can't take it. This is a hard skill. It's difficult, and they need to realize it's difficult and realize that it's something that if you practice, you will get better at. It's interesting. I've realized in the last couple of years that no one calls me on the telephone anymore.
Right.
We don't know how to make a telephone call, a simple communication act like that. We have to make an appointment to make a phone call with somebody. In fact, I have one today. I've emailed more with this person than we will probably talk when we actually make our phone call.
Right. It seems that people just aren't interested in having communication. I had a student today who was like, "Oh, I really want to come by for your office hours today." And I'm like, "Really? You actually want to come down and sit and have a conversation? You'll be like the only one this year. Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing you." So, yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about what the forensics team does here on campus. Now, I am very familiar with the team on campus here. I've had the chance to work with a lot of the students. They're generally speaking, very hardworking individuals. And they do a lot of travel, giving up a lot of weekends, that sort of thing, in order to compete across the country. Of course, that comes with some rewards as well. I was fortunate to travel with the team to New York in December, and so they got to spend part of their weekend in New York City and enjoying that and getting that experience. So I know there are some great rewards that go along with being on the team. But let's talk about the kind of dedication and hard work these students are involved in. I think that people always think about athletes and the kind of practice and that goes into that, but we don't think about that when it comes to something like speech and debate. Yeah,
it's actually similar to being on the basketball team or the football team, and I put it to students that way. When they wander into the office, say, "Hey, I saw a poster, I want to do speech team." First thing I make sure they understand is this isn't a club.
Right.
We don't get together and give a couple speeches. I mean, there are venues for that. We have a great Toastmasters program here at Harper that I recommend people check out. But the dedication is like the wrestling team or the basketball team. In fact, the way we do our coaching is modeled after our wrestling team. I kind of reimagined how we do our coaching. We used to do like sign up, so the kids would just take an appointment with Josh Sunderbrook or Margaret Belos or I. But now we set aside time. So when you join the speech team, we work on Mondays and Wednesdays from 12:30 to 4:30, and if you can't be there, then you can't be on the team.
Right.
Just like if you can't be at basketball practice at 3:30 every day, you can't be on the basketball team. And it was a little bit of a shock to the system of our sophomores, but now people are just used to it, and we help students with their schedules and moving things around. So it's easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that had to be quite a shock, especially the ones who are used to just coming in when they could. So,
right, and it's better for our schedule. So then when we at 12:30 when we start our coaching, we're focused. We don't have anything else. Josh, Margaret, and I don't make appointments for anything during that time, and we've actually gotten a lot more work done that way because we're working smarter, not necessarily harder.
Right.
And the students are able to be together, so they're working with each other quite a bit, especially our debaters. It's real important that debaters all have the same schedule so they can practice debates. And our debate program is just skyrocketing. I mean, Josh Sunderbrook does just a fabulous job with our debaters. They're awesome.
Yeah, I've watched them compete several times. They're doing really great work. So tell me, so we talked about the rehearsal schedule or the practice schedule and the coaching schedule, but tell me what a weekend debate tournament or a speech and debate tournament looks like for these students.
Oh my gosh. People don't believe it when I tell them. They say, "Well, when do you do your laundry?" So like, for example, this weekend is the big state tournament at Northern Illinois. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the students, as well as Josh, Margaret, I, and a couple of alumni have given up our weekend to do this. We'll leave Friday from here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We take a yellow bus. Because we used to have little Harper buses, but one burned to the ground.
I heard that story, yeah.
It's a phenomenal picture. You should check it out on Facebook. I look at the picture of that bus burning, and I think, God, how many hours I spent sitting in that chair that's now on fire.
Right.
But we take these yellow buses, which is nice. I don't have to drive. They'll take us out to DeKalb. We'll compete on Friday from like 3:30 until about 8:30 at night. Then we'll get quick dinner. We'll check into a hotel. We'll get a couple of hours of sleep. Back up at 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll compete from 8 in the morning Saturday to about 6:30 at night. Again, quick dinner, get to bed. Sunday morning, when you're all sleeping or watching the talk shows and drinking your coffee, we're up competing from 8. I think awards that day is about 4 o'clock. So we should get back here about 6. And the students they're incredible. I don't know how they're doing it. That whole weekend, they're speaking. They're going in and out of rounds on little sleep and little food, and they're just really prepared to do it. At least we'd get to sit there with a red pen and judge the rounds, and that's a little more relaxing. But they go to it. It's unreal.
You're listening to Harper Talks here on FM 88.3 WHCM. I'm Brian Shelton. My guest today is Jeff Przybylo, and we are talking about Harper Speech and Debate, the forensics team at the college, and also talking about the general communication offerings here. You were talking about the rounds themselves, and I think that this is something that I know when I talk to my speech students about the speech team, what those rounds consist of, I think they're a little shocked that these students work their tails off practicing, going through all of these coaching sessions and giving up their weekends to walk into a room and deliver their speech in front of most likely one person. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that sometimes it's just the judge there, but in most cases you're in front of 4 or 5 people with the ultimate goal of reaching the finals where you have an entire room full of people. I mean, that's the reward, I tell them. I mean, we work 8 hours a week. We work hard during those 8 hours, and on the weekend we travel hard and we have rewards. There's trophies and things like that. But I tell them, and they believe this, that the true reward is that big audience, to make finals and then have people there to cry at your poetry or nod in agreement at your debate or laugh hysterically at your speech to entertain speech. And there's an intrinsic reward that comes from that no trophy that's going to sit in a box in your mom's basement someday can even come close to touching. Yeah.
So tell me about the kind of skills, if you're on this team, what kind of skills are you building outside of just being able to speak in front of that group of people?
Yeah, well, there's all the things that it takes to build a speech.
Right.
So we learn to analyze topics, think critically, do our research, deliver. On top of that, though, to me, it's the process. I mean, we're a heavy process program, so you start from square one and you move through the steps of this process until you have a finished product. And I tell people, if you're on this team and you can work through a whole season, going from that first tournament all the way to nationals, and taking that process of putting together, in some cases, 5 or 6 10-minute performances. So each student might have 100 minutes of performance, and to make it out to the out rounds at the nationals, you could do anything. You'll be able to plan a wedding, have a career. I mean, I attribute so much of my organizational skills and my leadership skills and my ability to get along with people and groups to the time I spent on the Northern Illinois speech team and my high school speech team at Forest View High School, too.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk about that progression and how students who start off in speech teams like this make this progression from high school to community college to university and that sort of thing, and what kind of opportunities are available to them with that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back in about 2 minutes here on Harper College Radio with Harper Talks.
Can we get Reggie, corn dog, and a side of hash browns?
Corn dog and browns?
right, that's the Jive Turkeys here on FM 88.3 WHCM Harper College Radio. Music from our friends at Coal Mine Records. We appreciate the stuff that they've been sending us. Great stuff, great stuff. My name's Brian Shelton, and you are listening to Harper Talks. And my guest today is Jeff Przybylo, a professor of communication and the director of the Harper College Forensics team, which is the speech and debate team here at Harper College. And you know, Jeff, I was just thinking that I know your wife, and she is the director of forensics at College of DuPage. And isn't that kind of like isn't there a rivalry there? What's going on?
There is. And in fact, before she was the director of forensics there was a real rivalry. COD and us were, we were neck and neck at every tournament back in the late 90s, early part of this century. And then she became director of forensics, and we share things at home, but we try not to talk about it when we get home. Like, one of us is always going to beat the other at a tournament. We're always at the same tournament. So once we get home, we all have separate offices in our house. So we look at the ballots and we come out and smile. So it's competitive, but we've both had our successes. So there have been state tournaments they've won and state tournaments we've won, and then state tournaments we both lost. So
I know recently you guys been like sharing a bus and stuff like that, right?
Yep,
so
yeah, it's helping with some of the cost. That bus is not cheap.
Yeah. So that helps out a lot. So, and then also that means that while you're both working on the weekend, you still at least get to see each other on the weekend, right? So.
Yeah, you would think so. But these tournaments are so long, and we're all over the place. Like, I'll go 5-6 hours without seeing her. I'm like, oh, I forgot you were here.
I forgot you were here. And she's like, yeah, forgot you were here too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
But then she has dinner with her kids, and we have dinner with ours, and so we don't really see each other that much.
Yeah. Okay, so I think one of the things that a lot of people, when they're thinking about where they're going to go to school and how they're going to pay for it, they always think about academic scholarships and athletic scholarships and that sort of thing. But I've had friends who have gone to school on forensic scholarships. And could you talk to us a little bit about how these students make that transition and how being on a team like the forensics team can help you pay for going to college?
Yeah, I think I'm one of those friends you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I paid very much to go to school at Northern Illinois. I was on a full scholarship from my second semester on. We're really popular with the high schools in District 211 and 214. We have great relationships with all of the coaches, and they all know that if someone's coming to Harper, that they send them to Josh, Jeff, and Margaret, and they wander in our door. My goal for when I retire is to have 14 scholarships in place for our students. I say 14 because that's the maximum nationals lets us take.
Uh-huh.
So I think we have 9 right now. We have generous scholarships that have been put with our foundation by our alumni. They're all alumni scholarships. There's even a Jeff Przybylo scholarship that someone could earn. So any students who are competing in speech and debate in high school, when they come to Harper, most of them are getting some financial aid, not just from FASFA and the government, but also from us. And then when they're done competing for us, the 4 years come straight to the 2-year colleges for their recruiting. I mean, there are so many opportunities. If you do a year or 2 years at a community college speech team, the 4-year schools want you. So almost without question, anyone who wants to go on and compete for another 2 years, we're able to introduce them to coaches and talk. I could talk frankly with all the coaches about scholarship opportunities, and we've done really well at colleges like North Central and Northern Illinois and Bradley and Illinois State. There's some great opportunities for students. And then even after that, when I was done competing at Northern Illinois, I got an assistantship down at Illinois State where I taught communication as a grad student, and I didn't pay a dime for my master's degree, and now here I am.
Yeah, you can't beat that, right? Yeah, you absolutely can't beat that. So talk to me about that. So your alumni are funding scholarships?
Mm-hmm.
That must mean they really care about the program, yeah?
I think so, or I bug them so much that they to get me off their back, they're like, fine, I'll establish scholarships. The first, it was a tradition started by a wonderful woman named Linda Lang, who, when she was a part-time speech teacher here, and she helped us with the team, and when she retired, she put a very generous endowment in place. So she gives out 2 almost full-ride scholarships each year. And then when others saw that, then Jake Sadoff wanted to do one, and Josh Sunderbrook said, hey, I want to do that too. So we have great examples in place. So it's cool.
That's really quite fantastic that they're able to do that. So I want a scholarship. I want to be on the forensics team, the squad. Okay, I want to travel. I'm ready to put in the work. How do I do that? How do I get on the team?
You either call or no one calls me anymore.
We discussed that. Yeah.
Yes. You send me an email. I would love to get a phone call. I'm pretty free with my cell phone number, so I mean it's not hard to find.
Yeah.
We have a website, so if you go to the Communication Arts website, and you can find that through Harper College, you'll find a speech team page, and it's actually got cool stuff. It's got a little video where you can learn about the team, and it's got a form you could fill out, and that form comes directly to me. But if you write to me, I'll send you back some information. I've got kind of a standard email that's got some links, and then we'll set up a meeting, and we'll actually talk face-to-face, not on the telephone or email, and I'll answer all of your questions about either speech and or debate. Some people just do debate, some just do the speech stuff, some do both, a lot of them do both. And then we'll get you started. We're kind of nearing the end of our season now,
Right.
so we have state, regionals, and nationals coming up. And then we take a little break, end of April, May. We kind of try to forget. We have the moratorium. The students aren't allowed to talk to Margaret, Josh, or I for 3 weeks. And then when the moratorium's over, they're all standing at our office doors. But we do a practicum in the summertime, so students can take SPE 180, Speech 180, and it's basically on Wednesdays you come for 3 hours in the summertime, and we teach you about speech team. So we would never send anyone into a tournament until they're completely ready to go, and we start preparing June 1st for our first tournament, which is mid-October.
Wow. That's a lot of work.
We never stop.
Never stop. So state is at Northern. Where's regionals?
Prairie State College down in
Okay.
Chicago Heights.
But nationals is
Washington, D.C.
So you get to go to Washington, D.C. They get that experience. They'll get some free time, yes?
Yeah, we'll go there 2 days early. We'll practice in the mornings.
Uh-huh.
And then our hotel's right on the metro line, so we'll just walk right to the metro, and they'll be able to go anywhere we want. I was smart enough that when the African American Museum opened, we got online and we grabbed 20 tickets.
Oh, great.
So I even have some extra tickets. So we're going to get an opportunity to see that, which is really hard to do. It's sold out right now. You can't
Right.
get in.
That's fantastic. So they'll get the opportunity to go to D.C., some of them probably for the first time.
Yeah.
They'll get to compete in the tournament, but they'll also get an opportunity to see some of the important historical monuments
Right.
in the city. That's fantastic.
And if there's any kids out there listening that want to be on the team for next year, our nationals next year is in Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh.
And our hotel is right on the beach. We're looking for judges, Brian.
I think I might have to go on that trip, Jeff. I think I might have to plan ahead. I might do that. So, outside of forensics and teaching, I know you have other responsibilities here on campus, and I know that you're on the college's 50th anniversary committee.
Yeah, we have a meeting today.
Yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about the 50th anniversary celebration.
Oh, it's going to be quite a celebration. I can't believe we've been here 50 years, and we've got all kinds of things planned for the community to get involved. I'm on the employee engagement committee, so we're putting together T-shirts and parties for the people, and I am in charge, along with Chris Hoffhines, of the faculty and staff talent show.
Oh, Lord.
So this is a call out. If there's anyone on campus who has any talent, we've already got, I think, an Elvis impersonator, a stand-up comic, someone who's going to read poetry. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm getting Greg and his band, Anathor, to come and do it. So that should be a fun one. We have a meeting today. We're going to talk about it. So the details are forthcoming.
That sounds fun. And then we are in Building A right here for the radio station. And the speech and debate team is right next door to us. We bleed through the walls and yell at each other all the time because there's too much noise going back and forth.
We hear every word you say.
And we hear every word you say as well. Yeah, we're going to start talking bad about you on purpose. Yeah. But you are on the Building A remodel, redesign, gut rehab committee, and you have been for probably, you've only been here 20 years, so you've been on that committee for 30 years, I'm sure it feels like. And this building is supposed to have, it should be done now, right?
Yeah, we should be in it.
Yeah, we should be in the new building, right? Tell us a little bit about that and the headaches that have gone on with that.
We put in so much work. The people on that committee, we spent so much time interviewing architects and then hiring them. The whole building was designed. Beautiful radio station, speech team, newspaper. We all had our spaces, new office space for everyone. We actually broke ground. And then Bruce Rauner was elected and budget stuff started happening, and this was not a priority in his budget. So the money, Harper had saved a great deal of money for this project. I think we were paying for like maybe 20% of it. And we had waited a long time for this project, and the money just, hopefully it's temporarily gone, but it's just all on hold right now. And I'm sitting in fact, when I sat down in this booth, I went, it's kind of reeks of the 70s in here.
And we just repainted.
Oh
you know?
my gosh, but you can still see the paneling I spoke about. It's underneath there. You can see the lines. But once this building is done, it's going to have a beautiful cafeteria. The bookstore is going to be over here. Great new radio station with kind of a window to the world. All the clubs and organizations are going to have phenomenal space. And, you know, and this building is for students, and that's what this college is all about. And it really made me angry when that money got pulled for, you know, I don't know what he's doing with the money, but we had waited for it. We earned it. Our students deserve it. So I'm holding out hope for it.
Yeah, I am as well. So I'm looking forward to this building being remodeled. So, Jeff, you're going to chair the Communication Arts Department starting this summer, I believe. Tell us about the exciting things going on there. Again.
Excuse me. Yeah, I was chair for 4 years, a couple years back. And then Margaret did an awesome job, and now it's kind of come back around to me taking over that responsibility. We're bringing some new classes online. We're working with the Illinois Articulation Initiative to get some new stuff. There's a lot of mass communication stuff, new journalism. Is it old journalism class or is redesigned
journalism class?
Redesigned journalism class. We have a film history class that's really taken off. I hear the instructor for that is incredible. We're offering more mass communication sections than ever. So we adopted mass communication used to be in business and social sciences, and we've brought them over. So we've been working really hard on that. But we're working to put up great productions in our theater side of the house. Speech and debates going strong. Our mass comm, our radio station. You know, things are happening over there.
All right, great. Well, I want to thank Jeff Przybylo for being with us this morning on Harper Talks. Jeff, I hope that you had a good time, and we cover everything that you wanted to cover. And my name is Brian Shelton, and you've been listening to Harper Talks. We're going to leave today with the Monophonics on FM 88.3 WHCM, Harper College Radio. Make sure you tune in next week at 9:30 for another edition of Harper Talks.